Homeland Security, Mr. Jay Johnson, and his wife Susan of 19 years. Secretary Johnson is a resident of Montclair, and we're so excited to have him bring our message this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Earl. Principals and teachers have no first name, as we all know. Graduates, Montclair High Class of 2016, are you excited today? I don't think you're very excited. Are you excited today about graduating? Right. Let me begin by apologizing to the Montclair community for all the times that I come home from Washington for a weekend and my motorcade has blocked your exit from QuickCheck. I have prevented you from getting home in a timely way with your coffee and your donuts for your kids. As you know, I lead the Department of Homeland Security, the third largest department of our government. Components responsible for counterterrorism, aviation security, cyber security, border security, immigration, protection of our national leaders, a number of other things, response to natural disasters, and so forth. I am, in addition, a proud Montclair resident. Today's address, I have no major news announcements, no major policy pronouncements. If any member of the press is here, you will be very, very disappointed. I intend to talk directly to the graduating students in these remarks. Let me begin by congratulating those of you who are honored students, the valedictorian, those who win prizes for math, science, social studies. I know a number of graduates here today. Amalia, Stevie, Ben, William, Annie. Those of you finishing at the top of your class and going on to a terrific college, I congratulate you. In these remarks, however, and do not take offense, I want to talk to the bottom half of the class. You don't have to identify yourself. You know who you are. By definition, if there is a top half, there is a bottom half. I want to talk to the bottom half of this class and your parents. I, 41 years ago, was one of you. In fact, I don't even think I was bottom half. I was probably bottom 10. Royce E. Ketchum High School, Wappingers Falls, New York, class of 1975. I was a terrible student. I had a poor self-image. In my house, a C was a gift. On a regular basis, on my report card, I'd bring home numeric grades in the 50s and the 60s. The only time in my entire 58 years of life that I ever heard my mother utter a four-letter word was when she opened my report card. I recall saying to my mom when I was in high school, who was emphatic that I studied, "Mom, you can make me sit at this desk. You can make me open this book. You can make me stare at this book, but you can't make me read this book." You're looking at someone who occupies one of the largest jobs in Washington, but who never successfully got beyond 10th grade math. In 9th grade, I took 9th grade math and flunked. In 10th grade, I retook 9th grade math. In 11th grade, I took 10th grade math. In 12th grade, I took 11th grade math and flunked the New York State Regents exam. In high school, I was a shy kid, a poor student, terrified of giving a public address, terrified of having attention drawn to myself. Those who noticed me were convinced, I'm quite sure, that I was going nowhere. My guidance counselor told my parents, don't think about four-year college for your son. I compared myself to others and always came up short. I compared myself to the small population of African American kids in my high school and came up short. My friend Mike Willis was much faster in track. My friend Glenn Floyd, my one African American role model in my high school, was much smarter, much more articulate, much more outspoken. He was the closest thing then to Barack Obama. But my friend Glenn Floyd was killed in a car accident, November 22nd, 1973. From that point on, I had no role model. I was tuned out and didn't care. My lackadaisical ways convinced my freshman year at Morehouse College with a 1.8 GPA. How did I get to where I am today? For one thing, graduates, my parents never gave up on me. My parents refused to accept that I was not smart. My parents never discouraged any ambition I had, no matter how crazy. Eventually, I heard them. It took a while, but eventually I did hear my parents after years and years. A delayed reaction. Parents, rest assured, eventually your kids do hear you. Eventually they embrace your values. Eventually they even start to act like you and sound like you. Some of you here may know that I love classic R&B. I love WBGO 88.3 Saturday morning. I listen to Stevie, Gladys, Otis, Aretha. I even, once in a while, host an hour on Saturday mornings. My kids used to make fun of me. Last Christmas, excuse me, one from last year's graduation. Last Christmas, my son, who is now a college senior, thank you, asked me for a Christmas present. He'd like to host an hour on WBGO. And he played guest spot. Cannonball Adderley, Miles Davis, George Benson. Eventually they do hear you. I can remember the very day at Morehouse College when I was a sophomore, when I decided there was nothing left for me to do but study. Freshman year I had a 1.8 GPA. Sophomore year, first semester, a 3.0. Sophomore year, second semester, a 3.5. Fall semester, junior year, 4.0. Fall semester, spring semester, junior year, 4.0. Senior year, 4.0. I left Morehouse College, a boy, and left a man on fire. The lesson to the graduates is this. You are smarter than you think and stronger than you know. You have it within you to do far more than you think. And I'm talking to the bottom half of this class. Lesson 2, honor your parents. They raised you. Call home once in a while. Do better than a text. Don't just write a text. How are, letter R, you, letter U doing? Call home. Write a letter. Write an email. Complete paragraphs. When I was in college, I developed a habit of calling home every Sunday to my parents. 40 years later, I still call home every Sunday to my parents. Lesson 3, learn from your mistakes. There are actually very few mistakes I've made in my life that I would take back. Each wrong decision should be a learning experience, a growth experience. Whether it's bad relationships, a bad choice of a college roommate, a bad restaurant, bad hiring decisions, a bad job situation, bad shoes, a bad haircut. Learn from your mistakes. Those who don't learn from their mistakes are fools and bound to repeat those mistakes. Lesson 4, do not be afraid to fail. 70% of life is trying. Most people who become President of the United States have lost an election. Or as I say to school kids, you will never get the right answer if you don't raise your hand. Don't be afraid to fail. Do these things in your life, and you will see and do more than you can comprehend as you were sitting here today. 41 years ago, when I sat where you are as a graduate of Royce Ketchum High School, there was no internet, no GPS, no digital cameras, no Blackberries, no cell phones, no iPhones, no iPods, no iPads, no Netflix, no Snapchat, no selfies, no podcasts, no Facebook, no FaceTime, no Skyping, no WhatsApp, no Department of Homeland Security. I listen to my music on vinyl records. I'm 58. I'm really old. It is inconceivable to me then, in my lifetime, that we would have a black president and that I would serve in his cabinet. Finally, remember this. Happiness in life is not derived by the size of your house or the size of your income. Happiness comes from the personal, internal satisfaction you derive from believing you are the best at what you do, whatever that is, helping others, faith, and family in your life. My Morehouse College brother, Martin Luther King, used to tell people, and when you discover what you will be in your life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do so. Don't just set out to do a good job. If it's your lot in life to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, sweep streets like Beethoven composed music, sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry, sweep streets so well that all of the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a shrub in the valley, be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star, but be the best at whatever you are. Graduates, Montclair High School 2016, one last thing. As you leave Montclair High, do not leave this community. You live in a terrific, diverse, progressive, activist community. Do not leave this community. Contribute back. There are many grown-ups here who graduated from this high school and stayed in this community. It is a wonderful place. I can't wait to come back here full time. It's a wonderful place. Congratulations to all of you.